Squeaky was a little squirrel. He was full of zip and zoom. His fur was the colour of warm acorns. His tail was big and very, very fluffy. It helped him balance on thin branches. Squeaky lived high up in a tall oak tree. This tree was his home. It was cosy and safe. From his home he could see the whole forest. The forest was a wonderful place to live. Squeaky loved adventures more than anything. Every morning was a new chance to explore. He would scamper down his tree. He would greet the rising sun. The forest was full of exciting sounds and smells. He knew all the secret paths. He knew the best trees for climbing. He knew where the juiciest berries grew. He was a very busy, very happy squirrel. But Squeaky was not just adventurous. He was also a very kind squirrel. He had a big heart for a little creature. He cared about all his forest friends. If someone was sad, Squeaky would try to cheer them up. If someone was in trouble, Squeaky would try to help. He believed that friends should always help each other. This made him a very special squirrel indeed. His days were filled with gathering nuts and playing hide-and-seek with sunbeams. He chatted happily with the birds. He raced with the wind through the leaves. Life in the green-leaf forest was mostly peaceful, but sometimes trouble would find its way there. And that is when Squeaky's bravery and kindness truly shone. He was ready for whatever came his way, always. One sunny afternoon, Squeaky was exploring near the edge of the forest. This was close to the noisy human road. Squeaky usually stayed away from the road. It was a scary place for small animals. Cars zoomed by fast and loud. But today he heard a soft, sad sound. It was a little cry. Squeaky's ears perked up. He knew he had to investigate. He crept closer very carefully. He peered through the tall grass. There, by the side of the road, lay a cat. It was a ginger cat with white paws. The cat was very still. One of its legs looked hurt. Squeaky felt a little scared. Cats sometimes chased squirrels, but this cat looked so helpless. It whimpered again, a tiny, painful sound. Squeaky's kind heart ached. Squeaky forgot his fear. He knew he had to do something. He scampered to a nearby puddle. He found a large leaf. He carefully dipped the leaf in the water. He carried the wet leaf back to the cat. He gently nudged the leaf towards the cat's mouth. The cat, whose name was Whiskers, weakly licked the water. Squeaky felt a little bit better. He had helped. But Whiskers needed more help than just water. Squeaky chattered loudly. He ran back and forth. He tried to get the attention of a kind-looking human walking nearby. The human finally noticed. The human saw Whiskers. "Oh, you poor thing," the human said softly. The human gently picked up Whiskers. Squeaky watched, hoping his new friend would be okay. He hoped very much. Weeks passed by. Squeaky often thought about Whiskers. He hoped the cat was healing well. He missed seeing the ginger fur, even if it was just that one time. One bright morning, Squeaky was busy. He was gathering shiny red berries. He was high up in a rowan tree. He didn't notice the shadow. A big shadow fell over him. It was a hawk. The hawk was large and hungry. Its eyes were sharp. It swooped down silently. Squeaky saw it at the last moment. He gasped. He tried to run, but the hawk was too fast. Squeaky squeezed his eyes shut. He was so scared. He thought this was the end. He wished he could see his oak tree one more time. He wished he could say goodbye to his friends. Suddenly there was a flash of ginger fur. A loud hiss cut through the air. It was Whiskers. She was back. She was strong and healthy again. Whiskers leapt onto the branch. She arched her back. She spat at the hawk. The hawk was startled. It had not expected a fierce cat. It squawked in surprise and flew away quickly. It did not want to fight a cat. Squeaky opened his eyes. He saw Whiskers standing over him. She was purring softly. "Are you okay, little friend?" Whiskers seemed to ask with her gentle eyes. Squeaky chattered his thanks. He was so happy to see Whiskers, and he was so grateful. Whiskers had saved his life. The little squirrel and the ginger cat were true friends. They knew they could count on each other. The summer sky turned dark one afternoon. Big, heavy clouds rolled in. Rain began to fall. It was not a gentle rain. It was a hard, angry rain. The rain poured and poured. The little streams in the forest started to swell. Soon they became rushing rivers. Squeaky was safe in his high oak tree, but he worried about his friends on the ground. He worried a lot. He looked down and saw Barnaby the rabbit. Barnaby lived in a cozy burrow, but now water was rushing towards it. Barnaby and his family were trying to get out. They looked very scared. The water was rising fast. Their home would soon be flooded. Little rabbit kits were crying. Squeaky knew he had to help them. He couldn't just watch them suffer. Squeaky scampered down the tree trunk. He moved as fast as he could. He reached a lower branch. "Barnaby! Over here!" he chattered loudly. "Climb this way, to the big rocks." Barnaby saw Squeaky. He saw Squeaky pointing to a pile of rocks. The rocks were higher than the rising water. Barnaby trusted Squeaky. He guided his family towards Squeaky's direction. It was a difficult journey. The ground was muddy and slippery. The water swirled around their paws. Squeaky kept chattering encouragement. He showed them the safest spots to step. Finally, Barnaby and his family reached the rocks. They were wet and tired, but they were safe from the worst of the flood. Barnaby looked at Squeaky. "Thank you, Squeaky," he said. "You saved us." Section 5. Barnaby's quick thinking escaping the rising waters. The rain did not stop. The water kept rising. Soon, even the big rocks were not safe enough. Little waves lapped at the edges. Squeaky and the rabbits looked around. They were trapped. The water was everywhere. Panic started to set in. The little rabbit kits began to whimper again. Barnaby's ears drooped. Squeaky felt his heart sink. What could they do now? Barnaby, however, knew the forest floor very well. He had dug many tunnels. He knew how the roots of the trees grew. He looked around carefully. His nose twitched. He spotted something. A thick, gnarled root stuck out from an old willow tree. It reached towards another higher mound of earth. "Look!" Barnaby exclaimed. "We can use that root. It's like a bridge." Squeaky had not seen it. The root was partly hidden by bushes. Barnaby explained his plan. They could hop along the root. Then a fallen log connected to another higher spot. It was a risky path, but it was their only chance. Squeaky went first. He was small and nimble. He tested the root. It was strong enough. He called back, "It's safe! Follow me!" One by one, the rabbits followed. Barnaby helped his little ones. Squeaky guided them from the front. It was slow and scary. The water rushed below them. But Barnaby's quick thinking had found a way. They reached the higher mound of earth. It was dry and safe. They were all very tired, but they were together, and they were out of danger thanks to Barnaby's clever idea. Section 6. Squeaky and Dash, a friend lost and found. Autumn leaves were falling. The forest was a carpet of red and gold. Squeaky was busy hiding acorns for the winter. He heard a strange sound. It was a soft whimpering. It sounded like a sad puppy. Squeaky followed the sound. He found a young dog. The dog had floppy ears and big worried eyes. He was all alone. He looked very lost. The dog, whose name was Dash, sniffed the air. He whined again. He had wandered away from his human. He did not know how to get back. The forest was big and confusing. Squeaky felt sorry for Dash. Even though dogs sometimes chased squirrels, this one looked friendly and very, very sad. Squeaky chattered softly to him. "Don't worry," he seemed to say. Squeaky knew the forest very well. He knew all the paths and trails. He thought he could help Dash. He tried to understand where Dash wanted to go. Dash kept looking towards the edge of the forest, towards the place where humans sometimes walked. Squeaky guessed Dash was trying to find the park. The park was near his human's home. "Come on!" Squeaky chattered. "Follow me!" Dash seemed to understand. He wagged his tail a little. Squeaky scampered ahead. He stayed on low branches. He made sure Dash could see him. Dash followed below, trotting along. Squeaky led him through the trees. He led him along a winding stream. He was careful to choose easy paths for the puppy. He hoped he was leading Dash in the right direction. He really hoped so. Section 7. Dash's fierce loyalty, a forest protector. As Squeaky and Dash travelled, the forest grew darker. The trees were closer together here. Suddenly, a grumpy old badger appeared. The badger was not happy. He did not like visitors in his part of the woods. He snorted and grumbled. He had sharp claws. He looked at Squeaky. Squeaky froze. Badgers could be very dangerous for squirrels. He was very scared. Dash, the lost puppy, saw the badger. He saw Squeaky was in danger. Dash was scared too. The badger was much bigger than him, but Dash remembered Squeaky was helping him. He felt a surge of bravery. He stood tall. He planted his paws firmly on the ground. He stood right between Squeaky and the angry badger. He would protect his new friend. Dash started to bark. It was a loud, brave bark for a little puppy. "Woof! Woof! Go away!" he barked. The badger was surprised. He had not expected the puppy to be so bold. Dash kept barking. He sounded very determined. The badger grumbled again. He took a step back. He decided this noisy puppy was too much trouble. The badger turned and waddled away into the bushes. Squeaky couldn't believe it. Dash had saved him. The little lost puppy had been so brave. Squeaky chattered his thanks. Dash wagged his tail happily. He licked Squeaky's nose. They continued their journey. Soon they heard familiar sounds, the sounds of children playing, the sounds of the park. Dash barked with joy. He was almost home, and he had made a very loyal friend. Section 8. Squeaky and Willow, the cold bite of winter. Winter arrived in the greenleaf forest. It came with cold winds and deep snow. The world turned white and silent. Squeaky had stored many nuts, but the snow was so deep, it was hard to find his hidden stashes. He shivered in his dray. Food was becoming precious. He had to be careful with every nut he ate. The winter was long and harsh. One freezing morning, Squeaky was out searching. He dug through the snow with his little paws. His paws were cold. His nose was cold. After a long time, he found a few acorns. He was very happy. As he was about to eat one, he saw a sad sight. He saw Willow, a young deer. Willow was standing under a bare tree. She looked thin and weak. She was shivering from the cold. Willow was trying to find food. She pawed at the frozen ground, but there was nothing for her to eat. The grass was buried. The leaves were gone. Squeaky watched her. His kind heart felt sad for Willow. He knew how hungry she must be. He looked at his few acorns. They were important for him, but Willow looked so weak. She needed help more than he did. Squeaky made a decision. He took one of his precious acorns. He scampered over to Willow. He chattered softly. He held out the acorn. Willow looked down with her big, gentle eyes. She was surprised. A little squirrel was offering her food. She carefully took the acorn from Squeaky. She ate it slowly. Squeaky felt warm inside despite the cold. Helping a friend felt good. Section 9. Willow's gentle strength. Warmth in the blizzard. A few days later, the weather turned even worse. A fierce blizzard swept through the forest. The wind howled like a hungry wolf. Snow fell thick and fast. Squeaky was caught out in the storm. He was far from his cozy oak tree. He couldn't see anything. The snow stung his eyes. He was getting very cold and very scared. He tried to find shelter. He huddled under a small bush, but it offered little protection. The wind blew snow all around him. He was starting to feel sleepy. This was a dangerous sign. He knew he needed to stay awake. He needed to find a warm place, but he was so tired. Just as he was about to give up hope, he felt a gentle nudge. He looked up. It was Willow. Willow had found him. She remembered his kindness with the acorn. She nudged Squeaky again. She guided him towards a dense grove of pine trees. The trees offered some shelter from the wind, but it was still very cold. Willow then did something amazing. She lay down carefully. She positioned her large, warm body to shield Squeaky from the worst of the blizzard. Squeaky snuggled close to Willow's warm fur. He felt her body heat. He felt safe. Willow stayed there with him. She kept him warm until the blizzard passed. Her gentle strength had saved him. When the storm finally stopped, Squeaky thanked Willow with happy chatters. They were different in size, but they were friends. And friends always helped each other through tough times.